क्लाइमेट चेंज के खिलाफ लड़ाई का लोकतांत्रिक डेमोक्रेटिक एक प्रकार से उसका विस्तार कर रहा है, जिससे हर कोई अपने सामर्थ्य के हिसाब से योगदान दे सकता है। मिशन लाइफ इस बात पर भरोसा करता है कि छोटे छोटे प्रयासों का भी व्यापक प्रभाव हो सकता है। मिशन लाइफ हमें प्रेरित करता है कि हम सब अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में ऐसा बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं जिससे पर्यावरण की सुरक्षा हो।
Revolutionizing general outlook, our Prime Minister envisions to change individual and community behavior to bring in significant impact on the environmental and climate crisis. Life's objective to take individual and collective action for protecting and conserving the environment. Looking to bring in paradigm shift, Mission Life envisions 3 core transformations: change in demand, change in supply, and change in policy. Simplistically put, Lifestyle for Environment is a mission to help you identify simple acts in our daily lives that can contribute significantly to climate change. The ideology is designed keeping in mind that the actions would be specific and measurable, easy to practice by individuals, communities, and institutions, and non-disruptive to ongoing economic activity, and in fact promoting economic activity on the foreseeable future. So, let's take a pledge today and show to the world that we are environmental conscious and can lead the path for the world to follow. Lifestyle for Environment.
Our eminent dignitaries have joined us. I request all of you to please join me in welcoming our dignitaries with a huge round of applause here. His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President, Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Shri Bhupendra Yadav ji, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Mr. Siddharth Sharma, Chief Executive Officer, Tata Trusts. And on the dais, we also have Mr. Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, Mr. Sanjay Seth, Senior Director TERI and Chair of Organizing Committee, WSDS, and Dr. Shelly Kedia, Curator, WSDS. A huge round of applause for the eminent dignitaries here. Thank you. As the only independently convened international summit on sustainable development in the Global South, WSDS brings together global leaders, policymakers, industry, academia, civil society to drive impactful, solution-oriented dialogue. At this critical juncture, we have all gathered here today to commemorate the Silver Jubilee, the 25th edition of WSDS under the theme Parivartan, Transformations, Vision, Voices and Values for Sustainable Development, being held from 25th to 27th February 2026 here at Taj in New Delhi. A round of applause for 25 years of WSDS. A huge round of applause for the Silver Jubilee. Thank you. For last 25 years, TERI and WSDS have provided a neutral, knowledge-driven platform that bridges science, policy, and practice, advancing climate action, energy transitions, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable development pathways for the Global South and beyond. Once again, a very warm welcome to each one of you who have joined us from across the globe. Thank you so much. To mark the formal inauguration of the summit, may I now request our eminent dignitaries to kindly proceed for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, a symbol of knowledge, hope, and collective action. Thank you, dignitaries. Ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, I invite you to join us for a special and heartfelt moment of felicitation. May I invite Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, to kindly felicitate our esteemed dignitaries as a mark of our deep appreciation for their leadership and steadfast commitment to advancing sustainable development and climate action. His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. A round of applause for a dignitary who has joined us. Shri Bhupendra Yadav Ji, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. And Mr. Siddharth Sharma, Chief Executive Officer, Tata Trusts. Ladies and gentlemen, as we mark 25 years of WSDS, may this summit serve not just as a forum of dialogue, but as a catalyst for transformation. With that note, I now invite Shri Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, to please present the welcome address.
Your Excellency, Mr. Bharat Jagdev, the Vice President of Guyana, Mr. Bhupendra Yadav, our Minister who has been leading us in this work of commerce for so many years now, Siddharth Sharma, my colleague in the board, Vibha, Sanjay, may I just say that it's a pleasure for you all to be here. I may also take this opportunity of welcoming all of you for participating in this 25th version of the World Summit on the World Sustainable Development Summit. It started in 2001, 25 years ago. And at that time, much of the focus of the discussion then was on raising awareness of the issues of not just climate, but the broader issues of sustainability. Today, the world is completely different. Our challenge is not awareness. Our challenge is action. This is what how the transition over the 25 years took place. As the discussions in this World Summit on World Sustainable Development Summit moved away from just raising awareness to looking at issues about what would be the beyond awareness into detailed discussion of what are changes in policy, etc., that are coming about. Now, this was made even stronger when between 2012 and 2015, the United Nations put forward the Sustainable Development Goals, and in 2015, in Paris, we reached a very valuable agreement on climate with goals set up there. So the whole transition of this World Sustainable Development Summit has been away from just talking about awareness to raising, if you like, better understanding of what needs to be done to promote sustainability. Now, the sad part is today we are not in a good position. A very major part of our global economy, of our global politics, has virtually opted out of their actions on sustainability. But that's not the only problem. The problem is also that the rest of us who are committed to, say, the targets which are set in Paris, are not reaching our targets for 2030. India is not doing too badly. India is fairly well on its way to the commitments it has made for 2030, but that's not true, unfortunately, for the world as a whole. So we have a really serious problem of actual implementation of things that we have agreed to in the past. And at a practical level, what we need is not just agreement among central governments. The reality of what happens depends on what regional governments do, what corporations do, what even small enterprises do, what individuals do, what households do. And the real challenge is to get those people involved. Now, that's not too bad, actually. In some ways, you see more of a commitment to these things that we talked about 25 years ago among, say, corporations. For instance, the many of them who are coming up with the net zero commitments. Also amongst research organizations, activists, and so on. In many ways, this is what really matters. The conversations between all of the people who have the capacity to take actions which will affect sustainability. And in many ways, this is what the World Sustainable Development Summit that we run is actually capable of. Now, some of this broadening is already happening. The private sector, scientific institutions, cities, civil society organizations are getting in. And this is not just a marginal trend, it's happening on a substantial basis. So I would say that this is something which is a positive outcome of an event like the World Sustainable Development Summit, which is not focused on trying to negotiate a goal, but which is trying to focus on exchanging views, exchanging opinions, learning from other people on what needs to be done as action to get to sustainable development. This is what the sustainable development thing is about. I must say in passing that in many ways about individuals. If you want an individual who's going to be a sustainable development promoter, that individual has to have a certain understanding of the economics, so that he is aware of how to connect sustainability with the realities of costs and benefits and so on and so forth. That sustainable development sociologist has to become a bit of an engineer, because much of the answer lies in new technology, new developments, new processes. You must also be an ecologist, because you have to go much beyond a simple, particular action and what it implies into a broader view of what the impact of actions will be on the environment and so on. So the platforms like the World Sustainable Development Summit are designed for this conversation, designed for people to exchange opinion, designed for people to learn from experiences of other people. This is what we are trying to do all the time. And in many ways, the work, what has been done in these summits has helped to play that role. And I would say that in many ways, this is what I would focus on for this year. That this is not just, that we're not just talking about, this scaling, we're talking about certainly scaling implementation so that we get substantial results on sustainability, better cross-border, cross-country connectivity, and so on. And that is why, to some extent, this year's World Sustainable Development Summit has been focused as a Parivartan Summit, a summit which focuses on transformation. And we must understand that sustainability is not just about goals. Sustainability is a continuous process of adjusting to how things connect with with nature and with the environment and so on. And this is really what the purpose of a space like this, which brings together governments, corporates, research institutions, individuals who are working in this area, thinking about this area, talking about this area, and in a conversation with each other. So my hope is that this is what will happen in this. My hope is that you all come to a conclusion when we reach the end of this session 3 days from now, that you did get something interesting out of this conversation, these discussions that we had. So many thanks to all of you for being here, and I look forward to what we have to hear from our speakers who are going to come to us afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Mr. Siddharth Sharma, Chief Executive Officer, Tata Trusts, for the special address. A round of applause for Mr. Sharma here. Thank you.
His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdev, Vice President of the Republic of Guyana, the Honorable Minister for Environment and Forest, Shri Bhupendra Yadavji, Mr. Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, Vibha, and other colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure for me to be here today on the 25th edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit, which is organized by TERI. It is especially a very memorable occasion because representing the Tata Trusts and the Tata Group who have always created world-class institutions. And TERI is one such, which was incubated by the Tata Group under the visionary leadership of Dr. Darbari Seth. And whether it is the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, the National Center for Performing Arts, and I could go on, it is just a reflection of the commitment that Tatas have always had to nation building and partnering with the government in ensuring that the nation moves upward on its growth trajectory. I think convenings of this kind are exceedingly important because they enable people from different countries of the global south to come together, to share perspectives, and to forge a consensus. Now, it's exceedingly important because we do see that the global north, it tends to have a view or a narrative which sometimes is askew. In fact, I remember when I was addressing the audience on the occasion of the Darbari Seth Memorial Lecture 2 years ago, and the former Union Power Minister, Dr. R.K. Singh, was there. We do remember, so if I'll just take the audience to one small thing which talks about an inherent bias in the way narratives are framed. When we talk about India being the fourth largest economy, we are told that yes, that's a good thing, but it is a function of your population because you are 1.4 billion people. But if you look at per capita GDP, you're still at about $2,500, etc., and you're still a lower income country. But when you talk about emissions, and when we say that per capita emissions, we are lower than the world average by almost 1/2 or 1/3, we're told, no, that's not what matters. What matters is your absolute number. So you see how the narratives shift. And therefore, I think the one thing I would like to stress that if you see the entire arc of civilization and how the industrial era and the industrial revolution took place, what we call the developed nations of the world had a complete arc of many, many years to fulfill their developmental journey. And in the process, they used up a lot of the carbon budget of the planet. Countries like India, which are home to 1/7 of the population, do not have that luxury because we've been given a problem which is not of our making, but we have to participate in the solution because we do know that when we talk about climate change and the deleterious impacts that it has on the quality of life of people, there is inequity not only between nations, there is inequity within nations. And therefore, those people who are at the margins of society, those people are the people who are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. I was just speaking at the first edition of the Mumbai Climate Week 3 to 4 days ago. And if you look at the problem of air pollution, I think the rich and the middle class can say that one way of escaping this is by installing air purifiers. But what do you do about the poor man who has to go and earn a living every day, the daily wage worker, the gig worker, the policeman, the traffic cop who has to do his duty? It hits him and it hits him hard. And therefore, as a nation, as a government, we have to make sure that we are able to move on the path of both climate mitigation and climate adaptation. I would think that the Honorable Prime Minister has made very bold bets in India as far as India is concerned. First, by giving the concept and his aspiration of Viksit Bharat by 2047. And again, in what I thought was one of the most ambitious things that the Prime Minister could have done, to pledge India to net zero by 2070. And as we proceed on that path, and the Honorable Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav is there, I think we need to have a look at a whole of economy view. How do we transition? How is the transition a just transition? And in the process of doing that, if we are successful in doing that, and I have absolutely I am absolutely 100% sure that we will get there, as the Prime Minister has said, with all the efforts that the government is making. I think we will create a new template for the Global South, where development and environmental protections coexist, where development and environmental sustenance go hand in hand. One is not at the cost of the other. And that, I think, is a huge challenge for us. But as I said, I have no doubt that India and the government will rise to that challenge. I think the Tata Group, as I said, has always shouldered responsibilities with the government, and following from what the Honorable Prime Minister had said, I think in the previous charge that I held as the Group Chief Sustainability Officer of the Tata Group, 2 years ago, we formulated a very ambitious net zero by 2045 aspiration for the Tata Group. Now, the scale of emissions in the Tata Group is very, very high because, as you know, we are known as a salt to software conglomerate, and we are also present in very hard to abate sectors like steel, in aviation. But in spite of that, given the fact that many technologies in steel, etc., are very nascent, not yet developed, commercially not viable, we have said that we will reach net zero by 2045, and it will rest on the pillars of deep carbonization, biodiversity, and a circular economy. I would not take too much time beyond this, but I would only say that I wish the deliberations of this summit very well. I hope we are able to come together. This is a time for action. It's important that we democratize the language of climate change. It is not something which has to be restricted to conferences, to drawing room discussions, to boardrooms. It has to go to the masses. They have to understand how it impacts them, and then we have to work on solutions which are rooted in the local Indian context, which focus on rural livelihoods, on decentralized renewable energy solutions, on solar irrigation pumps, and a whole lot of other things where you have equal emphasis given to adaptation as we give to mitigation. I once again thank Vibha and TERI for inviting me over today and wish the deliberations of the summit very well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, to please present the thematic address. A round of applause for Dr. Dhawan here. Thank you.
Thank you, and very good evening to all of you. On behalf of TERI, the Energy and Resources Institutes, it's my privilege and honor to welcome you all to the Silver Jubilee edition of World Sustainable Development Summit. We started this 26 years ago. Of course, there was one gap year because of COVID, so it's 26-year-old journey which we have successfully, and every year I'll say is better than the previous year, the way we are convening this. And so is the enthusiasm of all of you. I must thank you all, and especially all those who are on the dais. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. And I'd like to extend very, very special thanks to His Excellency, Bharat Jagdev, because Guyana is a real partner of TERI. Not that we are working in their country, but year after year, they are always present for WSDS. More than that, in fact, I have no words to thank the Honorable Minister. Can you believe it? He was in Calcutta yesterday. He came for some function. He went back to Calcutta yesterday night. I think he had sleepless night having meetings. And then again, he's here coming straight from the airport because he feels, and rightly so, that Ministry of Environment and Forest is partner, and he is a true partner for this particular summit. He has never missed it. Ever since he became minister, And with folded hands, I'd like to thank you. We are very thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister, and I'll be reading his message because of, we were expecting him and we were quite sure being our Silver Jubilee edition, he'll come. But we all understand what is going on geopolitically, and he's required somewhere else more than this summit, but he has sent us a message which I'll be reading after a while. Over 25 editions, WSDS has evolved into the only independently convened platform shaping discourse on climate change and sustainable development for the Global South. It comes at a time when the world is facing intensifying climate impacts, widening inequalities, and growing pressure on natural systems. The Act for Earth initiative, which was launched at WSDS, and it aims to accelerate progress on climate and sustainable development goals through sustained research-driven dialogues while amplifying Global South perspective to drive more equitable and effective global governance and climate action. As Mr. Sharma mentioned, TERI's institutional journey has been shaped by Tatas and the global context. Established in 1974, and that was the time the country faced first energy crisis. So our name was Tata Energy Research Institute, and Tata's established when no one was talking about renewable energy or philanthropy, which today is a buzzword, but during that time, or even today, they keep on working silently for the society. So that's how TERI was born. And it was established as a not-for-profit autonomous research organization. And I'm very proud of these two words. It's the autonomy that gives us flexibility what to do, how to do, and so on. And profits is not in our mind. It is more for what can we do for the society. And therefore, whatever we do, it is ultimately that we have to take it to the end user for whom we have done that research. So it's not that we are judged by the number of publications we bring in. It is more by the impact we have on societies. And that is what the country needs or the world needs. We have done enough of talk show. What we require today is action, both at India's level and at global level. The theme of WSDS 2026, Parivartan, transformations, vision, voices and values for sustainable development, it strongly reflects our institutional philosophy. It underscores the urgency of moving beyond fragmented responses towards integrated solutions. WSDS therefore serves as a platform where these linkages are recognized and addressed through cross-sectoral dialogue, partnerships, and solutions-oriented engagement. WSDS has brought together diverse stakeholders, raising their voices to move from conversation to cooperation and from intention to implementation. It's a crucial platform, and as I said, for the last 25 years and in future, this summit will continue to inform policy pathways, strengthen national and sub-national action, and contribute to shaping a global climate architecture that is transparent, accountable, and just, particularly to the countries of the South. I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to all stakeholders and each of you who are part of this journey. With your support, TERI has built platforms that bridge research and practice, enabling governments, industry, civil society, and communities to collaborate on practical, scalable solutions. As we look ahead, WSDS 26 must serve as an inflection point. We must help translate global commitments into national and local actions, accelerate technology deployment, and that leads to resilience into development planning. These transformations must be supported by values grounded in trust and long-term impact. TERI has consistently demonstrated in last 52 years that advancing sustainability requires moving beyond high-level ambition to grounded implementation. Its work underscores a critical lesson for our times. Transitions and transformations are not driven by innovation alone, but by strong, credible institutions that can convene diverse stakeholders, connect science with policy, and translate ideas through leadership into action. Guided by its mission to usher transitions towards a cleaner and more sustainable future through the efficient use of energy and resources, TERI will continue to support pathways that are science-led, inclusive, and solutions-oriented. And I must keep on record the leadership of Mr. Nitin Desai and all our governing council members for their encouragement and help whenever we need it. So thank you very much for helping us taking this institute to the next level. At 25 years of WSDS, I invite you all to join us on this journey for strengthened commitment to sustainable development. And I do look forward to your participation. And I should say, taking back the message and spreading that message in your own countries and make action plan so that we make this planet a better place to live. So thank you very much. Now I would like to read verbatim the message that we have received from the Honorable Prime Minister. So my sincere thanks on behalf of TERI to the Honorable Prime Minister and his office for sharing this message, which I'll now read. It's heartening to learn about the Silver Jubilee edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit, WSDS 2026. The theme of this year's summit, Parivartan, Transformations, Vision, Voices, and Values for Sustainable Development, is in tune with the fast-paced, changing needs of our times. In India, nature has always been our first teacher. Our sculptures and traditions remind us, it's a Sanskrit shaloka, Pibanti Nadya Svemev Nabhya Svena Khadinti Falani Vriksha Nadati Sansya Khulu Varivaha Parop Sata Vibhutai, which means rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruits, clouds do not consume the harvest that they helped grow, the wealth of the noble existence for the service of others. Nature gives, it does not take. Today, that is the ethic humanity must reclaim. We have always revered the earth as our mother. Protecting her is not just a policy choice, but our duty. Today, that duty demands decisive climate action to restore a long disturbed balance. For more than a decade now, India has acted with purpose, expanding solar capacity more than 40-fold, accelerating wind, green hydrogen, energy efficiency, clean mobility, and achieving 40% of installed electricity capacity from non-fossil sources in 2021, 9 years ahead of our Paris commitment. For India, sustainability is not new. It is an ancient philosophy that aligns growth with ecological balance. With today's technology and resources, the task is to direct innovation and investment towards the world's most urgent priorities. Our approach is guided by Antyodaya, the rise of every and the most disempowered. Climate action must first protect the vulnerable, the poor, and the disadvantaged. The global south bears a disproportionate burden of climate change, yet for them, development is imperative. Climate justice, therefore, is essential. Developing nations must eradicate poverty and hunger while safeguarding the planet. This requires technology transfer, financing options, and partnerships. Developed countries bear a special responsibility to move faster, live sustainability, and deliver finance and technology at scale. Let this conference strengthen, resolve, deepen cooperation, and secure a sustainable future for our planet. And I extend my best wishes for productive and forward-looking deliberations at the Silver Jubilee edition of WSDS. Narendra Modi. Thank you very much to all of you, and have fruitful 3 days of deliberation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Bhupendra Yadav ji, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, for the keynote address.
His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdev, Vice President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Mr. Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, Mr. Sanjay Seth, Senior Director TERI, Dr. Shaili Kedia, Curator World Sustainable Development Summit, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I have had a long association with TERI, and this is the 5th time. I am at the World Sustainable Summit, so you can say I am significantly involved in TERI's work myself. On a serious note, I consider it a privilege to inaugurate the Silver Jubilee edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit. Spanning over 5 decades, TERI has established itself as a leader in developing evidence-based and science-backed interventions in the field ranging from clean energy and sustainable agriculture to water security, land resource management, air pollution, and low-emission transport systems. More importantly, over the last 25 years, WSDS has grown into a unique form from the global south that brings together governments, industry, academia, civil society, and communities to translate the science of sustainability into policy, partnerships, and practical action. This is not an ordinary achievement. TERI has indeed been a pioneer of sorts in the field of climate action. But today is not merely a celebration of legacy. It is a defining moment for humanity and for the planet. The umbrella theme of this summit, transformations, vision, voices, and values for sustainable development, is a strategic necessity. Friends, the first global stocktake under the Paris Agreement has made one reality unmistakably clear. Globally, we are not on the trajectory required to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. Emissions reduction remain insufficient. Adaptation finance remains inadequate. SDG implementation is uneven. This is not a crisis of science. It is a crisis of scale, speed, and systematic alignment. Transformation, therefore, must move beyond incremental policy refinement. It must alter the architecture of energy systems, economic models, consumption patterns, and global governance framework. And this is precisely what Parivartan demands. In English, transformation implies structural change. In Indian thought, Parivartan means carries deeper meaning. It signifies evolution of consciousness. For India, sustainability is not a modern negotiation agenda. It is a civilizational ethic. Therefore, we speak of transformation, we do not speak of abandoning development. We speak of redefining development within ecological limits with social justice and intergenerational equity. Vision must be anchored in realism and powered by ambition. And India's vision is clear: achieve 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030, reduce emission intensity of GDP by 45% from 2005 levels, achieve net zero by 2070, advance the national green hydrogen mission, build climate resilient infrastructure. But transformation requires a global vision as well. It seeks tripling renewable energy globally, doubling energy efficiency, scaling adaptation finance to match mitigation finance, reforming multilateral development banks to unlock trillions in climate finance. Climate ambition and climate finance must advance together. When financial mechanisms are transparent, predictable, and inclusive, transformations move from promise to practice. Ladies and gentlemen, the second pillar of today's theme is voices. As one of the independently convened global sustainability platform rooted in the global south, WSDS reflect an important structural shift in global dialogue. This matters because the global south stands at the front line of climate impacts while continuing in development journey. India has consistently upheld the principle of common but differentiated responsibility, climate justice, equitable carbon space, and inclusive carbon markets. These are not negotiating positions, they are foundation of durable cooperation. The voices of small island states, least developed countries, indigenous communities, and youth must shape global frameworks, not merely respond to them, because transformation without representation cannot command legitimacy. The third pillar, values, is perhaps the most critical. Values, when we define in the terms, that means technology can accelerate transformation, finance can enable transformation, but values define its fairness. India's G20 presidency advanced the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, as a practical guide for global climate governance. For India, this means that sustainability frameworks, whether carbon border measures, green taxonomies, or evolving supply chain standards, must be fair, transparent, and reflective of different development realities. Climate ambition should enable green growth in emerging economies, not restrict it. India will continue to advocate that environmental integrity and development equity move together. A just transition must create opportunities for manufacturing, innovation, clean energy expansion, and livelihoods across the global south. Members of the August gathering, as a responsible nation committed to building a Viksit Bharat, India is advancing systematic reforms across four strategic pillars. First, energy transformation. Second, circular economy transition. Third, nature-based solutions. And fourth, digital environmental governance. These are not isolated initiatives, but integrated reforms shaping policy, markets, and institutions. For India, transformation is not theoretical, it is structured, operational, and institutionalized. The global energy transition will recalibrate industries, capital, and geopolitics. It will test resilience, particularly around critical minerals and new technologies. Transitional pressures are inevitable, but leadership demands resolve and vision. The theory of change highlighted in the summit, constructivism, learning, transformation, remind us that reforms evolve through dialogue, but the next 25 years must be about execution. We must move from pledges to performance, from targets to trajectories, from ambition to accountability. Friends, in India, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, we are redefining prosperity beyond GDP, incorporating natural capital accounting, integrating sustainability into financial system, and ensuring resilience is embedded in infrastructure. The Government of India remains firmly committed to advancing global climate action anchored in science, equity, and shared responsibility. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has shared a long and constructive partnership with TERI and with World Sustainable Development Summit. Over the years, this collaboration has helped bridge the gap between research, policy, and implementation, ensuring that knowledge informs decision making and that development realities remain at the center of global sustainability discourse. And today, I take the opportunity to thank the officials of the ministry, our partner at TERI, and GB Pant National Institute of Himalayan Environment, the principal investigators and the exhibitors who have worked together to curate HimConnect. Their collective effort has helping bring forward innovation and solution from the Himalaya region and has strengthened the link between research and real-world impact. I also congratulate TERI for launching the Himalayan Coalition and for advancing the second phase of lighting 1 billion lives, both of which reinforce the importance of community-centered and inclusive approaches to sustainable development. In this context, I would like to make a special mention of HimConnect. HimConnect has been conceived as a structured platform to translate research supported under the National Mission on Himalayan Studies into solutions that can be implemented at scale. It creates a bridge between science and society by bringing together researchers, startups, entrepreneurs, investors, development agencies, and policymakers. I would like to thank the 30 exhibitors and initiatives that are participating in HimConnect, representing 13 Himalayan states and union territories of India. Your presence here demonstrates the strength of innovation and emerging from mountain ecosystem. HimConnect also aligns with India's broader approach to sustainability, which places communities at the center of environmental action. Mission Life, lifestyle for environment, is a key pillar of this approach. It emphasizes behavioral change and sustainable lifestyle as essential complements to technological and policy interventions. More than 6 crore people across India have already participated in life-related activities, demonstrating that individual and collective actions can create meaningful change. Friends, as I conclude, I would like to say that the Silver Jubilee of WSDS must mark not just continuity, but acceleration. Let this be reminder, and this will be remembered as the summit where vision become actionable, voices become inclusive, values become institutional. Let Parivartan not remain a theme, let it become a global movement. India stand ready to partner with all nations, institutions, and communities in shaping a sustainable, equitable, and resilient future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for those encouraging words. Moving ahead, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President, Cooperative Republic of Guyana, for the inaugural address.
Minister Yadav, colleagues on stage, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wish to thank TERI for the tremendous service that they have provided for 25 years. And this could have only happened because of enlightened leadership and commitment. We expect TERI to, long into the future, continue to give guidance and support to very important issues of our time. Now, many of us here are operating today in a different context. I've heard whispers in the corridors, but often we're reluctant to confront the biggest issue that is affecting us right now. And that is the need to raise ambition to achieve the climate goals that we have set ourselves, and with the absence of the United States of America at the table. And at this time when we have to raise ambition, it would be very, very difficult for us to achieve the climate goals without the US participation. It would have implications for carbon pricing regimes, which are crucial for the development of the climate sector. It would have implications for multilateral regimes that are crucial for sustainability. I speak here of aviation and shipping, methane regulations, and many other sectors that are so crucial. Without the United States, again, that would be very difficult. So I think the challenge before this gathering here and over the next couple of days is to find ways where we can move forward even without the participation of the United States of America at this point in time. I believe that much could be done within the framework or at the national level. And so I want to tell you quickly about what's happening in my own country. In 2009, we launched a low-carbon development strategy. Guyana is about the size of the United Kingdom. 86% of it is covered with primary forests. We have one of the lowest deforestation rates in the world. We set out in 2009 to prove that forest carbon is just as valuable and often a lower cost carbon in our mitigation efforts to achieve climate goals. The world until today does not value forest carbon the way it values other types of carbons, as reflected in the UNFCCC framework. It doesn't treat forest carbon as an offset. So the markets are largely voluntary markets. Nevertheless, we've been able to prove that it's a good quality product. We sold 30% of our forest carbon for $750 million US dollars. We have 1% of global forests that is tropical forest, and we've been able to raise $750 million US dollars from 30% of our forest carbon. If you were to extrapolate, that would be about $2.5 to $3 billion for our entire forest. That's more money that is available to the 99% of the remaining tropical forests at this point in time. We've been able, because of the quality of our forest carbon, to sell 2 million credits into the CORSIA market, which is the first formal compliance market. So much can be done at the national level if you pay attention to details, and you were at it long enough. We just realized that in many parts of the world, including in the United States, that many people who are climate skeptics may also be strong supporters of biodiversity protection. They don't believe the climate argument, but the biodiversity argument could be believed. Ghana just launched a global biodiversity alliance. We have 69 members. It was launched in July last year. TERI is one of those members. And we believe that we can encourage many countries and organizations to get on board, because we have a biodiversity crisis too, along with a climate crisis. And so all of these things can be done at the national level. We're going to be producing about 1.5 to 2 million barrels of oil within the next 3 years per day. And so we want to prove that you can do that and still have a sustainable strategy within the country. And we are doing it practically on the ground. And I believe in many countries of the world, if you have strong national leadership, enlightened leadership, you have a focus, like here in India, you can tackle a lot of the climate issues. And I think we need now more and more to emphasize the economic arguments around climate issues, because you may have a climate outcome, but it's good economics, and nobody argues with economics. So China now is a leader, India leader in solar technology, and EVs are taking over the world. It started off as a solution for climate change, but now by themselves, they become very, very competitive and profitable ventures. So I believe much could be done, and I hope that we focus on this. The next thing that I want to raise here is we cannot meet here and not talk about AI. We can't say the focus of this summit is on transformation and don't examine the challenge that AI will bring to sustainable issues, because TERI focuses heavily on climate and development issues. AI will bring great challenges to development, but it can also bring great rewards for development. And so, considering electricity, every time you do a prompt, it uses now 10 times more power than a Google search. If you can think about the world in which a phone that you have in another 5 years will be running a model on it, which is smarter than the sum of all human intelligence, with the ability to self-learn, what would that mean for development? And so we can't use old frameworks, old thinking, to address the development challenges of the future. And I think many countries are of different size. This is a forum for the global south mainly, to share experience. Many countries in the global south are of different levels, that is size and complexity and capacity. India has great capacity. India has done a phenomenal job in building out a digital infrastructure and having it serve the people of this country. India would be able to build compute capacity and become very competitive globally. India would be able to maybe build its own models. That is not so for many other countries in Africa, the Caribbean, and the Pacific. And so those countries cannot now suffer a new development challenge of compute and data divide. And that will happen. And if we don't want that to happen, we have to now work out templates. I heard mention of template here, for those countries to follow so that they can organize their AI diffusion, because it's hardly AI development in those smaller countries, but diffusion efforts, so that they can use AI to solve development challenges. TERI must now help in the planning process. Just like how we added a climate variable to national planning in the past, we now need to add an AI variable to national planning, because countries might spend $20 million US on building a road, and they're very comfortable with that. But 20 million spent on introducing AI in the education sector or healthcare may have a bigger impact on that road that you build, the physical road. But if we use old thinking, then we build the road. And we'll not value that, the impact of AI. So I believe that we need templates now. We need to work out for education or say healthcare. We need the approach that these countries can take to introduce that AI into healthcare for better development. Let me give you an example. We have a number of companies now descending on countries around the world. In Guyana's case, we have a model, we've bought access to a model to read X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs. So we asked the minister, how do you know that this is the best model, the most efficient or capable model or efficacious model? And the answer is they came first. We don't have a system to assess quality at this stage. Many of our policymakers don't understand the impact of AI and its impact on development. And we can't be at a Sustainable Development Summit and not understand the impact that AI would have. Many of our technical staff are worried. They see the technology as a challenge, as something that will cause their own obsolescence, a technology, and so they're very resistant to its introduction. We need to build awareness among technical people, like how TERI helped to build awareness for 25 years around climate issues. We have to help to build awareness around AI and its impact on development. We have to build a template how AI could, I met a young guy here, how using satellite technology, they can map every tree in my forest and tell me the species. So I don't need any longer to send people in the forest. We can track it. You can have world-class MRV systems that are cheaper for countries like ours. So I'm talking already too long already. So I just want to make the point that we have to today, from this summit, start thinking about that. How do we help the smaller countries of the South, particularly in building small templates or approaches where they can bypass the reluctance or the gap in knowledge at the local level and use AI fully for development, including to help us solve climate issues. As I was coming here, I got a speech from my foreign ministry, and then I did a prompt on the AI, and it wrote a better speech than the foreign ministry gave me. And so I was thinking that maybe future summits would be where we just get everyone to prompt and see who has the best prompt and then have a discussion on it, rather than just reading speeches like that. So we changed even the model of these meetings that we have in the future. because that's the way it is. So thank you very much. I want to say to the minister, earlier this week, I met PM Modi. We had a talk, and India is really, really making a big difference in the world. We really appreciate all this support that India gives countries like ours. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for His Excellency, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. On this momentous occasion, it gives me immense pleasure to share with you all about the new publication release, Silver Jubilee Archival Pocket Book. And for that, I request Dr. Shelley Kedia, Curator, WSDS, to please share about the new publication with all of us.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, delegates, and colleagues. The World Sustainable Development Summit, as you know, is an annual flagship multi-stakeholder convening organized by the Energy and Resources Institute in partnership with the Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change. The summit series was instituted in 2001 as Delhi Sustainable Development Summit, and this platform was created at a time when sustainable development was still emerging as a unifying global framework. The first edition, held in 2001, brought forward perspectives from the Global South in advance of the World Summit on Sustainable Development, WSSD, that was going to be held the next year in Johannesburg, as well as COP8 on climate change in Delhi, setting the tone for a series of on equity, development, and environmental responsibility. The summit itself was conceptualized as TERI, marked its 25th year. Today, WSDS completes 25 editions. The journey comes full circle. What began as an effort to foreground poverty, energy access, and justice has evolved into a globally recognized forum that bridges science, policy, and practice. As the only independently convened international summit on sustainable development and climate action anchored in the Global South, WSDS has consistently sought to complement formal discussions with informed, inclusive, and evidence-based dialogue. Over the years, it has convened heads of state and government, ministers, thought leaders, business leaders, scholars, youth representatives, and civil society actors, fostering partnerships and shaping discourse across climate action, biodiversity, energy transitions, resource efficiency, and sustainable development global governance. The summit has played a catalytic role in strengthening the science policy interface in these areas. By translating research on interconnectedness, connected global challenges into actionable policy conversations, the summit series has supported integrated approaches to climate change and sustainable development. The archival book, which will soon be launched, documents the 25 editions of this collective endeavor. It traces the summit's evolution from agenda setting to a more solution-oriented engagement, capturing key announcements, flagship initiatives, and milestones that have shaped global sustainability conversation. It is important to acknowledge the visionary foundations laid by Dr. Rajendra Kumar Pachauri, the first Director General of TERI, and the leadership of Dr. Jay Mathur during his tenure as Director General TERI. We recognize the guidance of Chairman Mr. Nitin Desai, also his overall contribution to sustainable development, and the stewardship of the present Director General, Dr. Vibha Dhawan. Special appreciation is due to Dr. Annapurna Vancheswaran, who has led the summit for 2 decades, as well as to the International Steering Committee, the Silver Jubilee Committee, and the wider TERI community, whose dedication has sustained and strengthened this platform. This volume draws upon decades of archival material, institutional memory, and collective commitment. As we launch the Silver Jubilee commemorative edition of the publication, we hope that reflecting on this journey will not only honor the past, but inspire more transformative, equitable, and implementation-driven approaches in the years ahead. Thank you.
I request the dignitaries on the dais to please do the honors of the publication release. A round of applause for the glorious 25 years of World Sustainable Development Summit, which has been captured in this pocket book. Dignitaries. I now invite Mr. Sanjay Seth, Senior Director TERI and Chair of the Organizing Committee WSDS, to present the vote of thanks.
His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President, Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Shri Bhupender Yadav ji, Honorable Minister of Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Government of India, Mr. Siddharth Sharma, Chief Executive Officer, Tata Trust, Mr. Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, and my colleague Shelly Kedia, Curator WSDS. It is a matter of great pride to stand before you at the inauguration of WSDS 2026, the 25th edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit, marking the silver jubilee of this truly global platform. First and foremost, it is a great honor for us to have received a special message from the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. While the Honorable Prime Minister of India could not be with us in person today, his words resonate deeply with the spirit of this gathering. The message is a powerful affirmation that these issues remain close to his mind and heart, and it stands as a testament to his continued commitment to climate action and sustainable development. Aligning with the Honorable Prime Minister's message and vision, I would like to share that TERI, as a leading think tank of the Global South, has consistently championed the concerns of the region that bear a disproportionate impact of climate change. I would like to express my deep gratitude to His Excellency Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Vice President of the Republic of Guyana, for gracing this summit with his distinguished presence and for his leadership in advancing global climate action. We are deeply grateful for the presence of the Honorable Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Shri Bhupender Yadav ji, whose decision to join us today, despite being in another city, speaks volumes about his personal commitment and leadership in advancing the sustainability agenda. His presence truly honors this occasion and inspires all of us to strengthen our collective resolve towards a sustainable future. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Siddharth Sharma, the CEO of Tata Trust, for his continued support and unwavering commitment to sustainable development. The efforts and interventions of Tata Trust, as we all know, across critical domains, including health, education, nutrition, livelihoods, sustainability, urban habitats, water, sanitation, and hygiene, have made a truly commendable and lasting impact. Over the last 25 years, WSDS has served as a catalyst for change. It has empowered the next generation of leaders, nudged corporates towards climate responsibility, influenced policy dialogue, and fostered partnerships across borders and sectors. As we kick off WSDS 2026, we do so as a fraternity of like-minded individuals committed to climate action and sustainable development. We are truly grateful to each one of you for helping us shape the agenda of this summit, and for contributing to the vision, the collective vision, and bring us together here. This platform exists because of your trust, your participation, and your belief in the power of collaboration. I would also like to place on record my heartfelt gratitude to TERI's leadership, Mr. Nitin Desai, Chairman TERI, Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, for their vision, guidance, and unwavering support, which continue to inspire all of us and shape the direction of this institution and this summit. The journey of WSDS itself reflects its growing global relevance. From being hosted at the India Habitat Center to now being reconvened at the Taj Palace, the summit has scaled new heights, both symbolically and substantively. This growth would not have been possible without the generous and sustained support of our partners, whose belief in this platform has helped it evolve into a truly global convening space. A summit of this magnitude is never the effort of a few. It is the outcome of the dedication of many. I would like to acknowledge and thank the teams working tirelessly behind the scenes, our international partners, our ministries of the Government of India, our state governments, corporate partners, academic institutions, think tanks, and civil society organizations. Their collective effort is what gives WSDS its depth, credibility, and impact. And we deeply appreciate their forthcoming support in shaping the summit and its outcomes. I would also like to acknowledge the pivotal role of the print, electronic, and digital media in amplifying the message of WSDS, helping us reach beyond the conference halls to communities, institutions, and grassroots movements, and in taking the narrative of sustainability forward to every corner of the society. I would also like to sincerely thank all our attendees for your time, your presence, and your participation. Such collective efforts are exactly what the world needs today to build sustainable, inclusive, and resilient habitats for future generations. Finally, I wish to place on record my deep appreciation for my colleagues at TERI who have worked tirelessly to host a summit of this magnitude. Their dedication, professionalism, and commitment are the backbone of the WSDS. I'd also like to particularly thank Dr. Shelly Kedia and her team, who have been the curators of WSDS, for their inputs and efforts in shaping this event. As we begin this Silver Jubilee edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit, vision must guide us, voices must shape us, and values must anchor us. Only then can sustainable development move from aspirations to action and from commitment to reality. Thank you once again for being here with us, and I wish you all that we have meaningful deliberations over the next 3 days. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, as we commemorate 25 years of WSDS, may this Silver Jubilee edition inspire bold thinking, collective resolve, and transformative action. I request the dignitaries to please gather for a photo op. Thank you, all the eminent dignitaries on the dais. And with that, we formally conclude the inaugural session of WSDS 2026. Thank you all for your gracious presence. I request everyone to please remain seated for about 10 minutes due to security reasons. Please allow us that much time for security protocol and manage the crowd. I request your patience. Thank you. For our delegates, I request everyone to join the conversation online using the official hashtags Act for Earth and WSDS 2026. I request the AV team to please play the thematic videos for our delegates meanwhile. I request everyone to please remain seated. Thank you.
Founded in 1974, TERI was born from a singular conviction that development must be rooted in environmental responsibility. Today, we are a global force of over 1,000 professionals and projects across 40 countries. We don't just study the challenges of the future, we engineer the solutions that define it. This engineering mindset allows us to translate high-level science into the very policies that govern our world. For more than 5 decades, TERI has been the architect of policies bridging global ambition with national reality, from shaping NDCs to pioneering green budgeting. On the world stage, our world's
Ladies and
Sustainable
gentlemen, I
Development
know
Summit
we are all a
high-level
bit restless here,
measurable action.
but I request your patience. We would really appreciate that and request you all to be seated.
Our planet. At TERI, we bridge the gap between rigorous analysis and field reality to drive decarbonization. Our work transforms data into action. Over the years, the Program on Climate Change and Air Quality continues to work with MOEFCC on various projects and key negotiating strands in multilateral processes. Through precise source apportionment of air pollutants, localized climate projections, and custom flood modeling, we provide the evidence needed to build resilient environments. Through energy modeling and green hydrogen research, we are engineering a future with cleaner air. This mission is anchored by our new Center of Excellence
Another 5
on
minutes,
energy
please.
transition
Thank you.
in Hyderabad, a strategic partnership supported by the Ministry of Power and BEE to catalyze national innovation. While we provide roadmaps for global giants, we remain committed to the last mile. Since 2008, our Lighting a Billion Lives initiative has evolved into LABL 2.0. In 2026, Lighting Livelihoods, equipping rural women to lead the solar revolution. This transition from fossil fuels to clean energy is not just a technological shift, it is a moral imperative.
In 1974, when TERI was founded, sustainability was a whisper on the global stage. Today, it's a roar. Our founding convictions remains. India's development must be balanced by ecological integrity. But as we face an era of unprecedented complexity, where energy security, air quality, and food systems are deeply intertwined, knowledge alone is no longer enough. At TERI, we believe that research must be a catalyst for change. Our mission is to confront the systemic issues, ploughing society and transform rigorous science into adaptable systems. We study challenges. We translate research into actionable policy, deployable technology, and scalable solutions. By strengthening institutions and improving lives on the ground, we prove that a sustainable transition is not just a choice, it's a defining responsibility of our time. At TERI, we are engineering a new future.
We transform environmental challenges into industrial opportunities. Launched with a project of the Department of Biotechnology, our biotechnology program merges cutting-edge science with circular economy principles. Through microbial technologies like oil zapper, we restore ecosystems by cleaning toxic spills. We don't just mitigate damage, we innovate, converting CO2 into biogas and turning industrial waste into high-value resources. This circular approach to resources is the same philosophy we apply to the physical structures we inhabit. Infrastructure holds the greatest potential for climate mitigation. TERI, alongside the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, developed GRIHA, India's indigenous green building rating framework, to ensure our cities grow responsibly. Through sustainable buildings, transport and urban governance, and circular economy and waste management initiatives, TERI continues to assist policymakers, industry, academia, and other stakeholders in driving India's transition towards low-carbon, resource-efficient, and climate-resilient infrastructure. However, a sustainable nation isn't just built on land. It must also be secured at sea. In partnership with the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, our National Center of Excellence is driving maritime decarbonization. From Griha-rated ports to green fuel research, we are positioning India as a net zero global leader in maritime trade. As we decarbonize our trade routes, we must also...
Ladies and gentlemen, couple of announcements here, please. Tomorrow, the sessions will begin at 10, and I request everyone to please visit the TERA zone at Shah Jahan Hall tomorrow to experience Him Connect, a Himalayan Innovation Mela, an initiative by MOFCC and TERI. Do take time to also explore the TERI stalls as well. With that, I now invite you all for high tea at Rani Bagh and Raja Bagh. Thank you all once again. Have a really good evening. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Change happens in classrooms and communities. Through the TERI School of Advanced Studies, we are training the next generation of leaders. From our Himalayan Center protecting the third pole to our regional hubs in Mumbai, Goa, and Bengaluru driving the blue economy, we take sustainability beyond the lab. By nurturing youth through the Green Olympiad, we ensure that as we transition to a greener economy, no one is left behind. Across science, policy, and community, TERI bridges the gap between insight and impact. The future no longer asks for permission. It demands collaboration and the courage to lead. At TERI, we are moving beyond the theoretical to the transformational. The time to act is now.